Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace a valve cover gasket on a 1997 Mazda Miata. Now, this process is actually going to work for any Miata 89 to 97. That's because that's the first generation Mazda Miatas, the NAs. But it also should work for the NBs as well. Really, this process works for any of the Miatas that have the 1.8 liter engine. If you have the 1.6 liter, it's actually also the same, but of course you're dealing with a slightly different engine. These things are insanely easy to work on, and as you'll see, as I get through this video even more, you'll realize how easy it is to work on these cars. Christmas came early for me. I've got new shocks in the back. Those are going to be exciting. I've got transmission and differential fluid, sway bar end links, air filter, front and rear brake pads and rotors. Of course, they're drilled, slotted, and zinc plated. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the spark plugs, as well as why you might want lacquer thinner inside of your gas tank. And I actually learned that trick from Scotty Kilmer. So that's what you can expect from this. Of course, if there is any recommendation you guys have for further videos, leave those in the comment section below. So guys, to give you guys an overall view of what we're going to be doing to this car to remove the valve cover, let me get you guys through the steps first. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove two breather hose. Now there's one over here. There should be a clamp on it, but the guy before me lost it while he was replacing the hose. So make sure to take that off. And the second breather hose is right over here. So 1 and 2, I'm going to actually be putting a clamp on it. The next step we're going to do is removing these coil packs from the car, and then just placing them to the side. You can't really get them confused. I know people say label them, but as you can see, each one's got a certain length, so they can only go to one. And then the last thing we're going to do is removing all the bolts on the side of the valve cover. There are about 13 of them. And then on the back, we're actually going to be removing the last thing, and it's kind of difficult to show you guys, but the valve cover is actually held on to the distributor pack over here, and there are two bolts, one right over here. As you can see, it's right there, right here, and there's one, of course, on the other side. We're going to have to be removing those two, and the valve cover should come off. So let me put you guys on the stand, and we'll get to it. And you do want to watch out. These things can practically weld themselves on because the valve cover gets so hot, so the rubber just kind of welds itself. So just be patient with these and work them out. Next step, of course, take those breather hoses out. That one's very simple. And you're going to need pliers, or actually just with your hands in that case. And there comes that one off. Now, as you can tell, it wants to come loose, but you won't be able to take it off just because, as I said, it's still connected in the back with that to the distributor pack. So what we're actually going to do next, it's a 12 millimeter. So guys, I've took off all of the stuff, the two breather hoses, all of the bolts from the middle and from the side. Maybe I'll take the valve cover off so I can show you guys where both of those bolts went. Maybe get a clear view. So as you can see, one bolt was right here in that hole, and the other one was in that hole. They are insanely difficult to get to. By far the hardest part of this job is getting those two bolts. Try not to strip them. You really don't want to do that. But if you do, I would probably resort to vice grips, or as I did, I have some of these sockets which are really good. Let me show you guys. These are the type of sockets that dig in. Let me show you the case. They're by Irwin, really good. I really like them. They're called bolt grip. They dig in as you unloose or untighten them. But again, after that, you should be able to take the valve cover off and kind of see the internal. As you can see, mine doesn't look too bad. Of course, it's got 140,000 miles on it, but nothing serious. Everything looks just fine. No big sludge buildup or anything like that. This, of course, is a great time. Let me put this off to the side. This is a great time to inspect your timing belt. Kind of check for any cracks that might be on the belt. Of course, I got oil on it accidentally. That's not a great idea. But of course, I'm going to wipe that off before putting everything back. But it's a good time to inspect your belt. You can kind of see the life on it. This has been replaced at 80,000. It's got 140. So not going to be looking to do it that soon, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, these engines are non-interference engines, which means if this was to break, the valves won't touch the pistons, which is great. It saves your engine. A lot of cars, like my 2013 for instance, are interference engines, and that means if your timing, well, that's got a chain, so if your timing chain were to snap, your valves would smash into your pistons and chaos would break loose, and you'd spend a small fortune. Probably have to replace the engine at that point. But timing belt looks good. So coming over here, we can kind of see the gasket. It's right over here, and I know it's bad. You can always tell a gasket if it's bad if it's glued on. And just look at this. It's coming off. Look how it's not even rubber anymore. I mean, it's just cracking while I'm twisting it like this. It's just glued down. The rubber's just gotten so old, you know, from all the cold, hot. It's just got old and hard, and it does a lousy job now of lubricating. So good thing we're changing it. So we'll take this all off, and then we'll put the new one on, and we'll go from there. So I've got the new gasket all in place. There really is only one way to put these gaskets on. As you can see, the lips, these need to be facing forward so that they can clear everything. And the nice things about these Mazdas is they always have these grooves to put the gasket into. Here, let me show you. See, there's always grooves. I clean them up, of course, and you just put them in there. Put the gasket in there, and everything goes in just fine. Just press them down, make sure everything is seated in good. Great way to test if everything is seated in well is just flip it over, and the gasket should stay in place because, again, it's got all of these grooves. You know, don't worry about everything else because we're going to torque them down to spec and put them on pretty tight. So let's go and put this on then. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this video informative on how to replace your valve cover gasket. I know I forgot to mention the torque specifications, and it's actually 6 to 8 foot-pounds of torque. So anything between 6 or 8. These are aluminum, so the valve cover gasket is, or the valve cover is aluminum, and so is the head of the engine. So you don't want to torque them a lot, or else, you know, you're going to end up stripping it or damaging the aluminum threads that's inside of it. In previous videos, I don't really like to give a torque spec because usually intake manifolds are made out of plastic, and it just depends on how brittle your plastic is. Some plastic will break at the 6 foot-pounds that Mazda recommends. So just go until it's tight enough, until you feel, you know, pretty happy with it. But these things, because they're aluminum, they can take a little bit more wear, and they can take a little bit more pressure, but not too much because, again, they're aluminum. Again, if this video was helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let more people see this. I'm coming up with some really good videos soon. You know I show a lot of stuff on camera, but obviously when you guys start getting into it, you guys find other, you know, problems that I didn't mention or that I didn't run into. And if you do, of course, leave that in the comments section below, and I'll make sure to respond to that. Thanks guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.